Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something I think, well, every project manager wrestles with at some point.
What's that?
Knowing how much effort is actually enough when you're mitigating project risks. You want to be careful, but you can't spend forever on it either.
Absolutely. It's that balancing act. You don't want to waste resources overdoing it, but underdoing it can be disastrous.
Exactly. So how do you find that sweet spot? We're actually drawing some insights today from Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon.
Right. A solid source for this kind of question.
Yeah.
And the core idea really comes down to something specific. Risk thresholds.
Risk thresholds. Okay, let's unpack that. What exactly are they?
Well, think of them as boundary lines.
Yeah.
They're the limits of acceptable risk exposure for a project, and crucially, they're defined by the stakeholders.
So not just the project manager deciding.
No, not solo. It's a collective agreement. Stakeholders decide, what level of potential negative impact is okay and what level demands action.
Okay, so for instance, maybe a potential cost overrun under, say, $5,000 is acceptable. But anything over that needs a specific mitigation plan.
Exactly like that. Below the threshold, maybe you just monitor it. Above it, you actively work to reduce the risk or its impact.
So it's not about how comfortable I personally feel with a risk then. My gut feeling isn't the benchmark.
Well, your experience always counts, but no, your personal comfort level isn't the deciding factor. The question is, does this specific risk exceed the agreed upon threshold? It takes the subjectivity out somewhat.
Right. Makes sense. What about the budget, though? Surely the risk management budget dictates how much we can do.
It definitely influences how you respond, what resources or strategies are feasible, but it doesn't define the target.
I see. So the threshold tells you what level of risk is acceptable.
Correct.
And the budget shapes how you achieve that, maybe needing more creative solutions if funds are tight.
You've got it. The threshold remains the goal, regardless of the budget constraints for implementing the fix.
Okay. Another thing we do is categorize risks, technical, financial, schedule, things like that. Does the category affect how much effort we put in?
That's a common question. Categorization is really useful for analysis, for understanding patterns, for organizing your thinking.
Sure. Helps you see where the problems might cluster.
Exactly. But the category itself doesn't set the mitigation requirement. A high-impact risk is a high-impact risk, whether it's technical or related to the schedule.
So it comes back to the threshold again.
Always. Does it exceed the limit set for that type of impact, like cost or schedule delay? That's the key, not its label.
So the fundamental principle is focus your efforts to bring risks within those limits agreed upon by stakeholders.
Precisely. And this should all tie back to the organization's overall stance on risk, right? Their general risk appetite and tolerance. The thresholds make that concrete at the project level.
It really sounds like having those thresholds clearly defined up front could save a lot of debate and, wasted effort later on.
It absolutely can. Clarity there streamlines decision-making. It ensures you're tackling the risks that truly threaten the project objectives as defined by, the people invested in its success.
So to wrap it up, the measure of enough isn't gut feel. It's not solely the budget, and it's not the risk category. It's all about hitting those stakeholder-approved risk thresholds.
That's the core message. Get those thresholds defined and use them as your guide.
Makes a lot of sense. If you want to explore this concept and, frankly, many other vital project management topics in more detail, I really do recommend checking out the book we mentioned earlier, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon. It's a great resource.
Definitely worth a read for sharpening those skills.
Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.